Hi, I want to discuss about becoming an advocate for a child that's abused. This is not a role that most people want. They don't want to take the responsibility of going up against people that they love or speaking out for someone because something horrific happened to them. It just happens. It's not something that people intentionally walk into. To keep the confidentiality of everyone involved, I won't say any identifying characteristics. I won't give any specifics. I will just share my experience from my point of view, and hope you understand that I'm trying my best to keep the privacy of everyone involved, and I won't have comments enabled in this video. So if you have a question specifically about this, you can contact me through YouTube, Instagram, or email. I just want to maintain the confidentiality and privacy of everyone involved. Ended up becoming the caregiver for this child. And it wasn't something that I wanted. I just had moved into my own apartment. It was the first time. I was in my mid-20s. I wanted to just be, a 20-something-year-old, not under the roof of my parents. And all of a sudden, I am now a caregiver for a child. And this was not like what I wanted for my life or I wanted for this child's life. It happened, and it was the only thing I could have done. There was no other alternative for me and for this person. This is what we had to do. So we went about it, and when you have a situation like that and you became the caregiver, you're involved with like a whole bunch of people in your life that you never want to be involved with, and the person who suffers the most is the child, like without a doubt. When you're a caregiver and you're going through the system, there are a bunch of people that are involved. So you might have to be involved with the cops, ACS, foster care agency, a caseworker, a paralegal, a lawyer, and then there'll be like other people that you have to be involved with. And it's a lot for the child. It's very taxing. Additionally, it's a lot of work for the caregiver because you have to be able to like know what's going on. You have to make FaceTime with everyone. You have to see everybody. You have to talk to them. You have to go to meetings. You have to go to training. Like, you have to do so much. And this is not what you wanted at all. All you wanted was the safety and well-being for a child. And now you're thrown into this position. And so being an advocate is so difficult. And then when you're an advocate, and then on top of that, if you get thrown into the role of caregiver, it just throws a wrench into your whole like life plan of what you thought you were going to do that point in your life. If a child is in a home that you don't consider safe, that's when you need to figure out what to do. What would be the best thing? And so if you have time, and a lot of times it's like an emergency situation and you don't have time on your side, but if you have the ability to like research and contact people, be it lawyers or caseworkers or any kind of service person that's involved in that particular type of like abuse, you need to contact those folks and just like figure out like what are your options. There's a lot of information also online. Just make sure you're getting everything from a credible resource. And there are a lot of like pro bono lawyer numbers. So that's definitely something to look into. Obviously, don't just use Google to like Google questions that you have about things. If you have something like a very specific question about like your community, your town, your city, your state, you should be able to contact people directly, and you get those resources online, or you could call like information in your neighborhood. Becoming an advocate and then caregiver was never my choice. It happened, and I did the best that I could with that information and what I could have done at that time. Your life changes. You are now responsible for someone else. You lose a lot of free time because you have a lot of things to do to catch up with everything that's going on with that child, and anything that might be like legally that you have to be in charge of or responsible of taking care of or fulfilling. And when you do take a child, considering like their age and where they are developmentally, you have to be there for them. And so it's like emotional support. They might need like physical, mental, emotional, social. They might need like therapists and resources that you have to also be able to like research. So some things that you want to consider when you become an advocate: the safety of the child, their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. On that note, you want to also think about your physical, emotional, and well-being. Get a list of resources for your specific community. So be whatever state, region, province, county, whatever, wherever you live, you want to get the resources for your area. And you want to know like if it's some like legalese and you probably don't like speak that, you want to be able to talk to professionals who can break things down to you. I had to do training, and so I remember these were like all day workshops, and I didn't like it. I remember the person who was talking to me in the class, and she was just very nasty to me, and she tried to ask me a couple questions, and the way that she spoke to me in front of other people, it was very insensitive. I was highly offended about the way she spoke to me. And you know, when you're an advocate and you're doing all this and you're a caregiver, and when people aren't treating you with respect, it's really disheartening, and you could walk away from the whole situation. And I could see a person easily do that, because you as an individual, your character, you're also being like torn apart by people. I guess I wasn't expecting that. I thought like the people who were supposed to be like on our side or on our team would really be there for us, and it wasn't the case. Like, you really have to be your advocate and the child's advocate all the time, and it means like sometimes breaking down and yelling and screaming at people. I remember we had this meeting, and I just was like, I just like ripped everybody apart because I couldn't hold it in. I didn't understand what was happening. It just felt like the child was being a pawn in every which way and being used and just like re-abused by everybody, including the system. So sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to just kind of be like that squeaky wheel and just be like, I'm not okay with this, because the child, it's all frightening for them. And so sometimes you really need to advocate on top of what you've already done. And it could be like the people that are on your team that you have to like check. And there were certain instances like now I'm like, you know what? I was scared to say X, Y, and Z because I didn't know what they would do or say about me. So I didn't like do everything at the time. But now I look back at it and it's like, you know, I was totally within my rights to say something. So, being an advocate is very challenging. Being a caregiver was some of the toughest years of my life. I commend you for thinking about potentially being a caregiver or an advocate, and I just want to let you know that it's really tough, but at the end of the day, we all know what we have to do and what's the right thing. We have to step up and like take that responsibility, whatever it may be, and speak up for that child. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe.